Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Mary.
Welcome to Chatterboxbox, an F1 podcast.
Box.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of Chatterboxbox.
I cannot believe we're on episode 8. 8 is my favorite number, so I am excited to be here. For those of you watching the video version, Mary and I are wearing matching hoodies for no actual reason other than to manifest our future merch.
Yes, Pop Flex. If you hear this, Cassie, if you are listening to this for some reason, let's hook up. Let's collab. Imagine.
Yeah, imagine.
Chatterboxbox on these beautiful hoodies. Call us.
Putting it out there. It's the year of manifestation. So our episode, I think a big chunk of it is going to be about our 2024 season predictions, but we'll talk about the little news that we did have first. So let's take it away with our first news of the week.
I'm so excited. Charles released an EP. I have listened to this on repeat while I've been getting ready for the day, when my head hits the pillow on my bed. It is solid. Charles actually worked with Sofiane Pamar, who is a professional pianist. He is known as the Piano King, and I believe he took at least one day, maybe 2 days to just work out the kinks. And this is a lot different than the other kind of songs that he released last year. There's some variety. It feels hopeful. So I don't know. I'm manifesting a solid 2024 season for Ferrari, or at least for Charles.
I think Charles Leclerc is a definition of get you a man who can do both. Like, he's an artist and an athlete. Like, okay,
Ooh.
Charles, okay.
Yes. One of the discussion topics around Charles being so interested in music, I think it's playing both fields. Half of the fans are really excited and happy for him, whereas like the other half are saying that maybe he's just not into Formula One. He's not really into driving anymore. But like, I love my job. I'm so happy when the weekend comes, and I'm so happy to be here talking to you. So, honestly, get you a man that understands that work-life balance is a huge thing. So, I'm
Get
here
you a
for it.
man that has healthy coping skills and takes his emotions out with music.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think everybody needs an outlet. I think it's really great that he seems to have found his, and people are multifaceted. You're not just an athlete and that's it. Like, he can have other interests too.
Exactly. I'm happy for him. I am also happy that all of the livery reveals are completed. What are your thoughts?
I guess I'll just say my thoughts on the livery reveals of this week as a whole. I
Sure.
think I was really let down because last week we had some really fun live events, a lot more hype and energy around it. A lot of the ones this week were like, let me just drop a quick video on social, no live event, no hype. And I think I was expecting a lot more from the big teams with big budgets. So that was kind of a letdown.
I have the same sentiments over this week's reveals. I think for the most part, the teams from this week have very much honed in on their brand colors, what it means to be Aston Martin, Ferrari, Mercedes, and they really leaned into that. So I am excited. I think we're just about 2 weeks away now. And as a very gentle reminder, the Grand Prix race is not actually going to be on Sunday. It's going to be on Saturday, I think March the 2nd.
March 2nd.
Yep, March the 2nd, in honor of Ramadan.
Yeah, the first 2 races are going to be on Saturday this season, which a lot of people, I think, don't know. So everybody make sure you adjust your calendars. Do not miss the first race. I think also, now that we have our liveries all revealed, I think we should rank our favorites. So now that we have everything, what was your favorite livery?
I think Williams, I've been thinking about the Williams livery day after day for the past 2 weeks. I think they've done
Mhm.
a phenomenal job. I think their little live show also helped me to lock in that like memory of the livery. So I think that's my top one. My I really don't want to say Alpine is up there just because they really did us dirty, but in an honor to stay truly objective, I'm going to have to give them the number 2 slot. It actually looks so sick that with the race suits and the shirts and all of that they have, it really is kind of pulling all of it together. It's cohesive. I love it. And because I am a Ferrari girly at heart, I have to give it to Ferrari. I think that matte red looks good. I might consider getting more merch because I think this is a red that actually goes really well with my skin tone rather than the previous season. So I might be getting merch from Ferrari this year. What are your
Nice.
thoughts?
Okay. Favorite launch, hands down, was Williams. I think they did such a good job at getting me really interested in just their journey in general. James is a phenomenal speaker and really kind of just sold the team to me. And I think that Logan and Alex are such likable people that it really made me want to root for Williams this year. They did a really good job, honestly. Like, whoever planned the whole launch should get a bonus. But I don't know if I would say that's my favorite car. Maybe that's like my third favorite car aesthetic wise. I actually think I'm going to have to go with my first car being Steak because they took the biggest chance, I think. They made the biggest change, they took the biggest risk, and it's going to definitely be the most recognizable car on the grid. So I'll go with Steak number one. My number two, I think I'm actually going to go with Aston Martin. I really love that like emerald foresty green color. It's one of my favorite colors. And then probably number three, Williams. Just ranked on aesthetics.
Amazing, amazing. I support that. I'm actually also really proud of us because typically we're like right there with each other. Like we're on par when we rate things and rank things. So I'm very surprised that we are different and proud of us for having different thoughts.
Honestly, we typically just have the same opinion on everything. So this is
Yeah,
weird for us. But speaking of liveries, I have to talk about my actual absolute favorite livery reveal of the
please.
entire preseason is the Charlotte Tilbury F1 Academy livery. I was losing my freaking mind. So Charlotte Tilbury partnered with F1 Academy and they will have Lola Levin Fossey at Roden Motorsport driving a Charlotte Tilbury livery. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. It's very like pop funky type art deco vibe with a bunch of little different colored lipstick covered mouths holding little lipstick containers. And it's like pink, it's like maroon. It's so cute. I think it's amazing that Charlotte Tilbury is this huge, like global feminine brand supporting women in motorsport. Such a great combination. And I've been so curious about what the remaining four drivers that aren't being sponsored by F1 teams, like what their branding would be. And I was not expecting this. So it was like such a pleasant surprise. What did you think about the car?
I loved it. The pop art is not typically for me, but I love that they leaned into that and
Mhm.
just decided on making the car pop. This is such a great move for, I think, women in motorsports, but also women in general. Like, you can have it all. Like, you can be a
Mhm.
girly girl, you can like motorsports, you can be a professional racing driver. You can be all of those things, similar to how Charles can be a musician and a driver. Women are multifaceted people, and I am here for it. I just love
Mhm.
that there is like a blend and a clash of kind of two worlds that used to be more separate, but now they've like converged, which is just
Right.
so great.
Yes, Charlotte Tilbury did this ad, and it is so great of Lola like looking into her helmet and applying her lipstick through the visor.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
The
Oh,
aesthetic of that just blows my mind. Like, as girlies who appreciate makeup, I wouldn't say we're like makeup stans, but we appreciate makeup. We have our loyal favorites. I ate that up. Like, that is so aesthetic. I love it. And I'm not even gonna lie, I was at Sephora the day that this launched and I went straight to the Charlotte Tilbury aisle and I was
oh my
like,
god.
maybe I should buy something. So the branding worked on me, okay? I was influenced.
Sponsorships work. Ads work.
Yeah. I kind of want to speculate now that we have a sense of who the sponsors can be. We have 3 cars left. So what like iconic female brands would you love to see come through for the remaining 3 cars?
You know what? I thought about this and I'm like unsure, but one particular brand that I would be really interested in seeing is Stanley because their
Oh.
original branding used to be like for men in the work field, like on construction
Mhm.
sites, and they had this entire like rebranding because they realized that women, like females, also love their stuff. And they ended up rebranding, like, I think almost everyone has a Stanley Cup now. I do not, but I have been eyeing the black chroma for quite some time. But just seeing the transition for the brand going from something that was considered a little bit more of a male dominated brand now becoming more female dominated, I would love to see that partnership in Formula One too, because, like cups are for everyone. So racing can also be for everyone.
Mhm, mhm. That would be such a beautiful mirror of the journey of F1 of this used to be such a male-dominated thing, and now women are coming in as well. So Stanley would be so awesome. I would
Right?
love that. I don't know. I like the first thing that came to mind to me was Fenty Beauty, but I don't think they would do another makeup brand. So I don't know if that would happen. Maybe a high-end fashion brand like
Mhm.
Chanel, something like that I could see definitely happening, or maybe even a social media brand. Like I could almost see Sheryl Sandberg. I don't know if she's still at Facebook, but I could see her coming in and being part of F1 Academy. That could be really cool. So I don't know, but I'm really interested to see, and we should, I think, be finding that out like this week. I'm not sure when the F1 Academy season starts, if it lines up and starts at the same day that F1 does, but I would think we'll find out soon. And I'm interested to see what Susie Wolf is pulling off for these remaining 3 cars because I just already know she is going to bring in the sponsors.
I am so excited, but I just had this whole thought. Do you know who would be, or like which brand would be so iconic to have a partnership with F1 Academy?
Oh, who?
Taylor Swift.
I
I mean, just
actually, yeah.
imagine it. Yeah, like she is a business guru. She is a
Mhm,
great musician, and she's been through a lot to get to where she is in the music industry. She's paved ways and paths for artists that aren't
mhm.
at like her caliber, and I just think that would be so fantastic for her to partner with F1 Academy because the stories are similar, right? Like it is a man's world, unfortunately, and it would just be so nice to see powerful women helping out other powerful women.
Yeah, and imagine Swift racing, that would sound
I
pretty sick,
know.
and I actually don't think that this is that unrealistic because Travis Kelce just invested in Alpine. So I would assume that F1 must be coming up in their conversations to some extent. Like, I'm sure they had a funny little conversation when he decided to invest in Alpine where she was like, "Oh yeah, there were rumors that I was dating that guy Fernando Alonso." So I'm sure they've talked about F1 before. I don't think it would be like super unrealistic. I don't know if she'd be interested in that, but I could see if she starts going to races with Travis because he's there to support Alpine. She may be like, "Wait, this is actually really cool." So I don't know about this season, but maybe next season.
Taylor, if you're listening to this, please watch Drive to Survive and let us know what you think because,
Yeah.
I mean, you, Swift Racing, it would just be perfect.
What if we just called Taylor up?
Hang on, let me just pull out my phone really quick.
Yeah, like we said, it really was kind of a slow news week, which I think worked out well because we really wanted to do a 2024 season predictions episode. And there is so much that we could possibly predict this season. I think one of the biggest talking points of 2024 season is going to be silly season. As we've seen in this off season, it's already been such a big conversation with Lewis, Lando, and Charles announcing their contract extensions early, but we still have like over half of the grid's contracts ending this season. So we have a lot to talk about. I think we have to kick it off with Checo. What are your predictions for Checo this season?
This is hard. I imagine that if he doesn't get re-signed with Red Bull, get this little inkling that he might retire because if you've already been in like a top-notch car with a top-notch team, like what else is there? I mean, he also has all of his children. I think it's about time to kind of transition from racing like racing driver to dad a little bit more full time. And yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Checo probably still has that drive within him to continue being a driver. But for me to just be a little bit silly within silly season, I'm predicting that he's going to retire if there is not a Red Bull contract.
Yeah, I think it really could go either way. Checo is a few years younger than Lewis and Fernando Alonso, and they're still very much driving. I don't see either of them retiring anytime soon. So I think he has a few years left in him. I think it really depends on his performance this year. I think if he has a really mediocre year at Red Bull, he'll probably retire at the end of the year. But if he is able to stay with the momentum he started to build at the end of the 2023 season again, and he does really well, and he holds on to probably P2 with less of a big margin, they'd probably just re-sign him. They'd be happy with his performance. But I could also see him resigning, and this is going to kind of group in Danny and our predictions for Danny. I think we said last week, and we still stand by this, that we really don't want to speculate too much on the Christian Horner news because there's still no concrete like evidence or ruling in that case. But I think that if it comes out negatively for Christian, it's going to be a lot of really bad backlash for Red Bull. And I could see them wanting to bring Danny in as the second driver because Danny is so well liked and just loved in the sport that it would be a good publicity stunt. I've been thinking that Danny would be a good publicity stunt for Red Bull in general because Max is so um, generally unlikable. So I think I've been thinking for a while, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled Danny up to Red Bull to kind of balance out Max because they're really good together and he really brings out Max's personality. So I would not be surprised if Checo retires, Danny steps into the second Red Bull seat, and then AlphaTauri is still Yuki and they bring up Liam Lawson. I think a lot of people are thinking that that's what would happen. And I think that's the likely step if Checo retires. But I could also see Checo having a much better season than he did last year and continuing to stay on.
Yeah, absolutely. I like your thought with Danny. I totally agree with you, but I am pretty sure that we are getting a Carlos villain era. And what better way to go into your villain era by signing with Red Bull for 1 year before you go over to Audi? I'm pretty sure that Carlos will be the one to take Ferrari to the second position in the Constructors' Championship and he's most likely at this point going to be competing for WDC. So I imagine that this might be a really good move for Red Bull, especially if they want to keep Max as their top driver. They know that Carlos is probably interested in signing with Audi when they are available to be in the season in 2026, right? 2026. So that might just be like a smoother transition. I think everyone loves Carlos. Everyone is also rooting for him to do the very best he can. I think Danny just wants to be in a position where he's seen as the first driver. And I think considering his age, I imagine that he wouldn't really want to go back to Red Bull just because they
Mhm.
are going to favor Max as the first.
Yeah, I think it's that never-ending balance of, like, be a second driver at a better
Mhm.
team or be the first driver at a worse team.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I'd be interested to see. For Carlos, I think, and I don't wanna think this, okay? I really don't. I think he's gonna be without a seat in 2025. I think that people are
No.
not going to want to take a one-year chance on him knowing that he wants to go to Audi. The only team I could see taking him is Stake, since they'll be becoming Audi. So they may say, let's just take him for this year. We're going to transition to be Audi next year anyway. I could see that happening. I don't know what benefit Red Bull would get from taking him for 1 year when they could move someone up and make them part of the development and keep them for a long time or keep them until they're done. I think Carlos has kind of shot himself in the foot a little bit by being so vocal about his connections with Audi. I don't even know if it's him being vocal or if it's just speculation and like his parents' connection with Audi
I
that
think
people
it's
are
his
like, well, duh.
parents. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that is going to kind of screw him over going into 2025 because I think a lot of these teams really look for a longer term commitment unless it's like a rookie.
Yeah, that is totally valid. But I don't
But
want
I
to
don't
think that.
want that to happen. I don't think he'll go to Mercedes. I think a lot of people have been speculating a swap of Lewis goes to Ferrari, Carlos goes to Mercedes. I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't know. I really don't know, but something just tells me I think he might be without a seat in 2025.
That is so heartbreaking. I I don't want to think that. But yeah, I think it does make sense, especially if they don't decide to have him move into stake. Currently, with Valtteri and Joe, I feel like they're pretty good contenders. I don't think they're going anywhere unless Valtteri suddenly decides that he
Mhm.
wants to retire, just because it seems like he has a lot of interests outside. Like he's very much like an outdoorsy person, but I don't know. Like I feel like Steak is pretty locked in for the next year.
Yeah, so in 2024, Valtteri's contract isn't even up. He is not up until 2025. I could kind of see him retiring this year just because he has so many other interests that he may just be like, I don't know, this isn't really worth it anymore. I don't want to wear this neon green. But technically, he's locked in until 2025. I actually don't think Stake would get rid of Zhou Guanyu this season now that we're going back to China. I think that would
Yeah.
be dumb. So I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know. Is Stake just turning into Audi or are they getting rid of Stake and Audi's coming in?
That's a good question. I think they're just rebranding again.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
Well, that's my understanding. I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I think if they're bringing in a whole new team of people, I don't know if it would make sense to be like, yeah, we'll take him for 1 year and then he just stays here if it's going to be a new
Yeah.
team. So I really don't know what to think. I don't know. I think I have to say my prediction is that he's without a seat, but I don't want that to be my prediction.
No. I know that
and now
he's
I'm sad.
I know. I'm like holding back tears. I do know that I think this is like this 2024 season is going to be his villain era year. We've seen him take small steps back, but he's definitely been the type of driver to just push for what he thinks is strategically correct, and he's been able to execute it. He was the only driver last year to win like a race outside of Red Bull. So he's going to trust his gut. He's going to go full Latino mode. So, yeah, that much I know to be true.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see Carlos stepping back to be second driver. I don't think we'll see him saying like, "Yeah, I'll let Charles pass." I don't think he cares anymore. He has no reason to keep Ferrari happy. So I think he will do really well. And I could see a similar thing happening. I don't know what season it was that Checo got promoted up to Red Bull, but he didn't have a seat at all. And then he had that one really phenomenal drive with Racing Point. And that was what inspired Red Bull to move him up to Red Bull. Not that they own Racing Point, but that was what got him his seat at Red Bull. So I could see Carlos having a phenomenal season, and one of the teams that has an empty seat, like Mercedes or Mercedes. I'm like, I don't know who else has a confirmed open seat right now, but I could see a team being like, no, like he doesn't deserve to have a year off. Let's bring him up, even if it's just for a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking about Mercedes, do you think that Fernando Alonso actually is a huge or a big contender to move into that empty spot?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think Aston Martin was so strong at the beginning of the 2023 season that if they come back in 2024, there's no reason for Fernando to leave if they start being able to perform the way that they were in the first half of 2023. Fernando and Lance Stroll actually genuinely get along, and we know Lance Stroll is not going anywhere on Aston Martin unless his dad ends up leaving the team. I think Lance Stroll is another person like Lando and like Charles that has a rolling contract with no definitive end date. So he's not going anywhere. And I think him and Fernando, for some reason, seem to genuinely really like each other as teammates. I could see Fernando choosing to just stay with Aston Martin. Him and Lance seem to work really well together. He seems to like mentoring Lance. He seems to benefit from being there. He's definitely the first driver, I would say, despite Lance being, you know, his dad owns the team. I think they still let Fernando take the lead. I don't know if he would go to Mercedes. He might, because I think Fernando and Lewis have a little bit of beef. We know this. I know they have a rivalry. I thought it was over because they were friendly to each other this season. But did you see the quotes with Fernando saying, like, I really don't care what Lewis is doing? And he was like, I don't know, this wasn't Lewis's childhood dream last week. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I almost
I
could
saw that.
imagine Fernando sliding into Mercedes just to like spite Lewis. But I also don't think Lewis cares. Like he's the one who chose to leave.
Yeah, that is so funny. I did see that, and I'm like, part of me is like thinking maybe he's just so sick and tired of everyone asking him what his reaction is to Lewis moving to Ferrari. I think that was just breaking news. Everyone was talking about it, thinking about it, and they were all curious to hear other drivers' thoughts. So I think their rivalry maybe isn't a rivalry, and he's just like over like that discussion. Like he would much rather talk about Aston Martin, his own drive, his own like technique, like what he's thinking for 2024, not like Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my prediction is Fernando stays at Aston Martin unless Aston Martin is awful this season.
That is pretty much what I said. In my notes, I said Aston Martin will probably have the better offer or like the better stance for Fernando, so he stays with his bestie Lance.
Yeah. Can we group Pierre and Esti together since they're both up for renewal? We'll just talk about Alpine in general. Do you see them keeping both of these drivers, keeping one and getting rid of the other? If so, who would they keep? Who would they get rid of? What are your thoughts?
I was really stuck on this because I know that the two of them don't get along. I'm pretty sure that the team knows that they don't get along. I think personally, Pierre is going to try to go to Mercedes, but like to no avail. He's going to get stuck with Esteban again. Like he's going to call all of his people up. He's going to ask his manager, like, hey, is there any way that you can get me a meeting with Mercedes and Toto? Like, get me in a room with Toto. I'm going to convince him that I am worth a shot. And people are going to be like, yeah, we tried, but no. So then he's just stuck with Alpine and he's just stuck
Yeah.
with Bestie Bestie again.
That is so funny. I don't see Esty Bestie going anywhere. I just feel like Esty Bestie, like, he is Alpine for me. Like, Esty Bestie is so camp. He will lean into the pink. He will lean into the fans. Esty Bestie on the podium, baby, is like probably the most iconic line of all time.
Yes.
So I don't think he would leave. Pierre might. I think they performed equally in 2023. I wouldn't say either one of them was significantly better than the other. And the team did okay. They had a lot of DNFs, but otherwise okay. So
Mhm.
I could see them both staying. I'm gonna say they're both staying at Alpine. That's my prediction.
That is also my prediction. But I imagine there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes where like Pierre is just over working with Esteban. I mean, just the social media, like the clips and the videos, you're just like, you can see that Pierre's just overworking with SD Bestie. He's like, what are you saying? Stop being an idiot.
I don't know why they hate each other so much. Like, I want to know the beef. I need to know the lore.
I need to know all of the secrets.
Okay, let's talk about Williams. I believe Alex Albon is confirmed to stay on for 2025, so he's good. But what do you think about our boy Logan Sargent? Is he going to live to see another day in Formula One, or do you think 2024 could be his last season?
You know what? I think he's going to stay at Williams because they are such a development team. And just listening to that livery kind of event, it sounded like they were willing to invest in a good team and like good team morale. So I think Logan is going to stick around. I think he's going to be competing probably with Joe Guan Yu and Nico Hulkenberg, and he's going to be getting at least 5 points this season. I'm going to manifest it. He got 1 point last year. I think he can slowly make his way into the higher ranks. Just seeing his performance in Las Vegas was incredible. I think he's finally getting a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, that is my hot take. What is yours?
Wow. Logan in the points, loins. I'm definitely predicting Logan points. What did he get last year? 2 points?
Just one.
Oh, just one.
Hey,
Logan.
hey, one is better than none.
Oh, okay. I'm going to predict at least more than one. Let's aim for five.
Okay.
We'll both say 5 points for Logie this year. I think he's staying at Williams. The reason I think this is because I thought it was interesting that despite being based in the UK, right, Williams decided to have their car launch in New York City. So,
Ooh.
Williams, y'all are leaning into the US fan base, and you know our only American driver, Logan Sargent, might be really beneficial for that. I also think my unhinged prediction about Logan Sargent specifically is that I am really going to lean into a Logan Sargent fan era just because initially I was rooting for him in kind of like a meme way. Like, yeah, rah, USA. But I think I actually want to root for him now. I decided I actually like him. So, Logan fan era for me. Prediction 2024. Logan at least 5 points. Prediction 2024. And Logan staying at Williams.
Perfect. I support that. I put my stamp of
Yeah.
approval on that. I love Logan. I think he is such an adorable person. Like he's so kind and I honestly just want the best for him. Is the fact that he's American part of the reason? Yes, but I think he deserves a second chance. Obviously, Williams also thought that he deserved a second chance. So this year is going to be Logan's year to prove everyone wrong.
Period. Logan, we're fans. Come on our podcast. Okay, let's talk about AlphaTauri. I know we touched on Danny a little bit, but what are your predictions for Yuki and for Danny in this 2024 season?
I personally think that Yuki and Danny are both going to stay on V Carb. I think Yuki's just happy to be where he is. I don't think that there was a lot of tension within AlphaTauri, within like Visa Cash App, RB, and he did pretty well last season. I think he was like close to 10, 11, 12, like that little range. And I think Danny is getting familiar with the cars again. And I think this is just like, it's going to be a good year for him. But I think just because of his Red Bull roots, he's probably comfortable just staying with V Carb.
I think VCarb is my most outlandish prediction for 2024. It groups into my Red Bull prediction. I really just feel, and maybe this is just me rooting for chaos. I think Checo retirement, Danny moves up to Red Bull, Yuki stays at VCarb, they move up Liam Lawson, and then after 2025, Yuki moves in 2026 because he's annoyed that he's the one that wasn't moved up to Red Bull. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, Chaos. I enjoy that. I mean, also, I just love Liam Lawson as a driver and a human being. I think he's a great driver. I mean, just look at him. Him just terrorizing the Red Bulls. Amazing. Love that. I also watch his vlogs, and he's just like a very funny person. He genuinely loves cars in general, like not just Formula One, but he is like a car geek, like normal car geek. And I appreciate that. I think he's like multifaceted in the fact that like he just likes cars and he likes and he's here for a good time, but I would love to see him on the grid.
Yeah, I also think I'm pretty sure this is true. I may have dreamt this. I may be wrong, so someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Liam Lawson is guaranteed a 2025 seat, and it's just a matter of is he taking Yuki's or Danny's. I feel like I heard people saying that last season because people were surprised they didn't move him up after how well he did when he covered for Danny. And I heard people saying, well, no, he is guaranteed like that 2025 seat. I don't know where that's coming from. I did not research this, so I hope I'm not spreading lies, but I do feel that I've heard that. So I don't know. I don't know. I also want to say I could see that if Danny has a bad season, I think he might retire because we didn't really get to see how he was doing last year. He came in halfway through the season and then he was injured for like many races. And then when he came back, he did okay. Not phenomenal, but pretty good. I think if he doesn't do so well, if he's clearly outperformed by Yuki for the entire season, I could see him just retiring at the end of the year. Like, I came back, I gave it another try. I have many lucrative ventures elsewhere. However, I'm sticking with Chaos and Delusion, and I'm still saying Danny to Red Bull, Yuki Liam, AlphaTauri, or whatever the hell they're called this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I think I want at least one more year with Danny, like not including this upcoming one. I want 2024, 2025 until he like officially calls it quits. And I'm manifesting that for both of us because we love Danny.
Yeah, we need more Danny. We barely got him in the 2023 season, so that doesn't count.
It doesn't.
I think we talked about Joe Guan Yu, but do you have any other predictions for him? Do you think he's keeping his seat? I think he is. I don't think that they'll get rid of him.
I agree. I think he's going to stay at stake. I think most of my predictions are pretty safe. Like I don't imagine that there's going to be a lot of movement in silly season just because the majority of silly season has already occurred. And I think generally like all of the teams have a rough idea of who they want to have like on their team.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for Haas, I'm going to be so for real every time we talk about Haas. I have nothing to say. I don't know. I really don't know. I could see them keeping both drivers. I could see them
Mm.
getting rid of one driver and keeping the other. No preference towards either of them. I could see them dumping both drivers and just bringing on two random people. I really don't know. I think Haas may decide to shake things up a lot with the departure of Gunther. I don't know. What do you think?
I also was very stuck on this. I think Nico will probably stay at Haas. I think K Mag will also probably stay at Haas. But I think K Mag will probably bring on more points because last year he really did show that he wanted to be in Formula One and he wanted to do a good job. I'm not saying that Nico didn't, but I think I just saw K Mag with a little bit more drive, and that's mostly because I'm slowly watching like last season to see what was up, just as a quick refresher. And I think K Mag just like ultimately understood like this was just another being a part of the Formula One kind of grid.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I don't think I don't want to sound mean, but I don't think I really care either
Mhm.
way enough to make like a solid prediction. I'll let them surprise me.
Perfect.
I think we also have some contenders for people who may be moving up into Formula One or coming back to Formula One. We talked a lot about Liam Lawson. I am sticking with my prediction that Liam Lawson will be in the 2025 grid. What do you think?
I agree. The only other person that I'm curious about is Kimi Antonelli.
Mm,
There's just been a lot of talks of him moving into Mercedes, and I imagine that it could be a similar kind of transition where Lewis joined Mercedes early on, and I think Mercedes is the type of team to nurture and help their drivers grow. So I think that's potentially a move as well, like just signing Kimmy, seeing how it goes, and then like potentially Kimmy becomes like their next Lewis. Sorry, George.
yeah. Sorry, George. I don't know. I don't know what my prediction is for who gets the open Mercedes seat. Are you going with your prediction as Kimi Antonelli?
I think so.
I think okay, just to be different, just to keep up our trend of difference of opinions that we'd never
Oh,
have, I will say my prediction is that they take Mick Schumacher out of the reserve driver role and give him the empty seat for at least 1 year just to see like maybe he can do better under different management because I think it was disrespectful to get rid of a child of one of the great sport legends and he deserves a redemption arc. So I'm going to go ahead and say my prediction that they give the seat to Mick Schumacher. I don't know if this is unrealistic or delusional, but Delulu is the Salulu. So
exactly. All right,
there
Miss
also have
Schumacher.
been talks of Ollie Behrman moving up, Felipe Drogovic stepping out of his Aston Martin reserve driver seat, and then last year's F2 champion Theo Porcher. I probably just butchered his last name. I don't have predictions for any of these people. I don't think that they're going to be moving up this year. I don't think we'll see too much of a shakeup, maybe one or two new faces, but otherwise, I think the grid will stay pretty similar.
Yeah, I think it's going to be boring. I think other than like one or two potential seats opening, the grid is going to be pretty much the same.
So, getting into more concrete predictions, I want to know your predictions for who's going to be the world driver champion, who's going to come in P2, and who's going to be in P3.
Okay, slightly unhinged. I'm going to let Max keep doing what Max does. I don't care. He's first. He gets WDC. I'm going to let him continue his Max Verstappen era. P2, I'm going to say Carlos cuz he doesn't give a fuck. And then Lewis also doesn't give a fuck.
Mm.
And that just it solidifies nice signed, sealed, delivered goodbye to Mercedes. We had a great run.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think I'm predicting Red Bull having a successful season again, but I don't think it's going to be as severe of a domination. I don't think it's going to be a clear cut like Max and Checo winning every single race. I think we will see a little bit more of competition. Maybe I'm just like begging, pleading, manifesting that because I'm so tired of the Dutch national anthem. So I am going to say Max for the WDC, unfortunately. I think that's pretty obvious. I'm going to say P2, Lewis Hamilton. I'm really manifesting a comeback just in time for him to go to Ferrari. P3. This is hard. This is really hard. I think I'm going to say, I'm like, do I go unhinged or do I go realistic?
Go unhinged. We
Okay,
already
we're going to
are
say,
realistic with Max.
this is so real. We're giving Max the realistic P1. So Max P1, Lewis Hamilton P2, and let's just lead into ultimate level Delulu P3 Charles Leclerc. Give my man some good luck this year, please.
Okay, I support this. I'm curious what you think the Constructors' Championship looks like because I put a little bit of Delulu in there.
Okay, I'm going to say, I'm trying to do the math in my head to see if this is even realistic based off of the prediction I just gave, but I actually think I'm going to say winner Red Bull again.
Mhm.
Second place to Mercedes. And then I don't know if I want to say third place Ferrari or third place McLaren. I think I'm going to say Ferrari because, like you, I think that Carlos will be doing really well this season. So I think the top three will either be any combination of Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren. I'm going to just go ahead and say Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari.
Perfect. I said Red Bull for first, obviously, whatever. I am going to put Ferrari in second position because I think Charles is going to do well. Carlos is going to do slightly better. So I think that kind of puts them at the spearhead to be second place. I put third place for McLaren just because I think they're going to do super well and it's going to be super tight between McLaren and Mercedes. I think to see a really close competition. Lando and Oscar are super awesome drivers. I think Lewis wants to give it his all for his last season with Mercedes, and I think George is also going to try and prove that he's worth being first driver, but like in the end McLaren just pulls slightly forward and it just takes them out of third place.
Yeah, I think Mercedes in general is either going to be phenomenal so that we have this dialogue of like, is Lewis making a mistake leaving Mercedes? Or they're going to be mediocre and everybody's going to be like, yeah, good thing he's leaving. It's
Yeah.
going to be one or the other. It's not going to be like a middle of the road, whatever. I think it's going to be one of the two extremes. So,
Yeah.
okay. Do you have any predictions for fun media moments or fun, like, meme type behavior that we might get this season?
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I think Lando might be giving us more like inside moments because he has lando.jpg and lando.mov for Instagram accounts. So I feel like he might be leaning into that a little bit more. We might be able to see him and Oscar and just like the behind the scenes of hanging out and trolling the rest of the drivers on the grid. Like, I think that would be such a cute way of utilizing those accounts. And I think he's had huge followings on both of them, and everyone's just waiting to see new content, which is really exciting. I definitely think that Lando's going to be having a lot of fun. I also think that we might continue seeing a more Lewis and Charles collab just to tease out that excitement of Lewis moving into the Ferrari team next year and next season. And I think I'm so excited for that. I'm curious if they're going to do any type of musical kind of like challenges together or like just seeing them in more like musical venues. But yeah, I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a prediction or a manifestation, but I'm going to predict a Lewis XNDA
Oh my God.
featuring Charles Leclerc on piano
Please.
collaboration. Charles
Please.
Leclerc drops an EP, and the fourth song on the EP is featuring XNDA.
I love that. I love that for you. I love that for us. I love this for the whole F1 community.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Speak it into existence.
Believe it.
we had a few we had a few chaotic races in 2023 season. I'm wondering what you think, if you could predict, what do you think will be the most chaotic race of 2024?
China, I think, because it's a
Oh,
new track. I mean, at least for a while. I don't think anyone has anyone driven the
probably
track.
like Lewis, Fernando, I think have driven there, but I would say all of the newbies, probably
Yeah.
not.
So I think I'm gonna go for China.
Yeah, I'm going to predict, I don't know if this will be on the track chaos, but I'm going to predict even more chaos in Vegas this year. I think they're really going to lean into the camp energy and do something completely unhinged. I don't know how they're going to top those weird, like, Hunger Games
That was
entrances, but I
so
think they
weird.
will.
They
I
will.
also think, I don't know if this is chaos, but maybe controversy. I think that we will once again see Miami beauty influencer controversy of people attending the race. I think even more so now that we have beauty brands leaning into F1 Academy, I think that we will see another rise of the influencers arriving at the event, but I think they'll come in this year more educated. I think they'll actually do a little bit more and be like pronouncing the team's names correctly and being a little bit more knowledgeable of F1. So I'm going to predict that. And yeah, I don't know about on track chaos though. Like specifically, I can't think of one race that I could say like that's going to be a lot of on track chaos. But
That's
I do
valid.
predict there will be chaos. I just don't know where.
There's definitely going to be chaos. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm here for it.
Okay, let's just make an outlandish prediction. What do you think is the most DNFs we will have per race in the season? Do you think there will be one race has, I don't know, how many DNFs would you say would be the most?
I would say 5.
Five. Okay.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
we might see Charles in there, unfortunately.
Don't
Um,
manifest
all right,
that.
take that back. No, I think that would be like potentially just one race. And maybe someone from like Alpine, V Carb. But yeah, I don't know. But the number 5 is coming into my head.
Okay. Yeah, I actually was thinking five as well. I think six would
Yeah,
be too much, but I
that's
could
too
see a
much.
five race DNF. So let's see. We'll put it on the bingo card. I have to ask, what's your prediction for Charles in Monaco this year? Do you think he will DNF? Do you think he will finish the race? Are you predicting a Charles on the podium? Charles Leclerc on the podium, baby.
I want Charles to get pole. Like, I want him to be on the podium. I'm manifesting it. He's going to do so well. Just to counteract that DNF, he's going to go all the way to the top.
Yeah, I'm predicting it. Full send on the prediction. Charles will be on the podium in Monaco this year. I refuse to accept any other option or to predict any other option. I will not wish bad energy upon him.
No. Monaco and Charles, 1-1. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I also want to slide in with, is there anyone that you predict will be on the podium that's kind of an unexpected person? Like I'm thinking Esti Bestia on the podium, baby energy. Who's your like unexpected podium attendee this season?
I really want Danny to really prove himself and others that he's still got it. I feel like that would just create great content and it'll just, I think for the older fans and for new fans, that will just be the best news to happen. Like we
Mhm.
get another athlete sweat, baby. Like, we're going to get good content from him, especially if he places on the podium.
Have you ever watched the Daniel Ricciardo Monaco win?
No.
Oh, you have to watch it. You'll actually cry. Like, I had tears in my eyes watching
Oh
it.
my God.
The dialogue is amazing. You should also watch the fan edits of it on TikTok. Daniel Ricciardo Redemption Day. You'll cry. You'll actually cry. So I can't even imagine the fan content we would get with a Daniel Ricciardo podium. I would lose my mind. It would be
Come on, Danny.
phenomenal. Yeah, so you
Good.
know what? Let's manifest that. We're going to manifest and predict Daniel Ricciardo podium. I'm also full send in my Logan fandom. I'm manifesting a Logan podium. Logodium, if you will.
Let's go, Logan. You can do it.
Let's just go ahead and send it. Do you think anybody's going to win a race other than Max or Checo this year?
Yes. I think Lewis is going to win because I think again, Lewis just wants to be able to have a really good bookmarked end to his Mercedes era. I think Carlos is going to win because he's had enough of the Ferrari strategy and he's just going to do his own thing. And you know what? I'm going to put Oscar there.
Oh, okay, okay. Actually, that's so interesting because I was going to ask, do you think Lando will get his first win this season? So I guess no.
I don't know. I think no. You know what? That's so ooh, I love Lando. But I think Oscar just has a good head on his shoulders
Mhm.
and I think he could probably be as strategic as Carlos as the years go on. And I really am just looking forward to Oscar like full sending into this year because he did so well last year. And yeah, I'm here to manifest a rookie win.
Yeah, you know what? I actually am going to back that up. I don't want to really predict this. The Lando girlies are going to hate me for this. But I do not think Lando will get his first win this season. I think Oscar is going to outperform Lando. And it's going to be a point of conversation this season of, whoa, like, what's going on at McLaren? I think we will get an Oscar win, a Lewis win, a Carlos win, and I think we'll probably get a Checo win in addition to a Max win.
Sure.
Probably multiple Max wins, let's be real. And
Yeah,
then I think we might get a Fernando Alonso win as well.
I can see
At the
that.
very least, a P2, because I don't think he ever went above P3 in 2023, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't know. Let's go for it. I think I want some variety in the wins. I want to hear some other national anthems. I don't only want to hear the Dutch one. Please let me hear something else.
That's so real.
So I'm going to manifest a variety of winners. Do you have anyone in particular that you think will win their home race?
It goes against what I said earlier, but it would be great for Logan to place on the podium in the States, whether that's Vegas, whether that's Miami, whatever. I mean,
Oh,
Miami, a win in
yeah.
Miami,
Yeah, Miami would be so great because he's
so
actually
good.
from Florida. I think he can like drive to the Miami GP from his hometown like
That's amazing.
pretty easily. So that would be awesome. I think obviously Max is probably going to win the Dutch GP.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm actually going to manifest and predict that Carlos will win the Spanish GP.
Amazing. Amazing. And we did kind of manifest Charles in Monaco.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to say Charles win because I don't want to jinx him, so I'm just going to say Charles podium.
Yeah, perfect. I like that. We're overall just going to manifest a good variety of winners this season.
Yes, more excitement, more close calls. I think we're resigned to another Max WDC, but I want to see him have a little bit of a fight. I don't want it to be like a very clear, obvious thing from like race 7 that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I just want a little bit of fun. I want to go head to head with Max. I think Lando is probably going to go head to head with Max a couple of times.
Ooh, tea. Okay. So who do you think in the 2024 season will be the most improved driver?
I think it's gonna be Logan. He's gonna place five, or he's gonna get 5 points. He's going to do so well. I think the team dynamic is there. I think he's slowly getting more and more support within the F1 community, and all of that is going to play into his headspace, and he's going to realize that this is like a real thing and there are people that, and it's not going to be like last year where he felt a little bit excluded for being the only
Mhm.
American. I think people are really like leaning into like that American support.
I'm going to predict Danny, actually. I think
Okay.
Danny has a lot of silent criticism on him for how his time at McLaren went. I don't think we really got to see if he improved last year because he was in so few races, but they were constantly saying that his sim data was really good and he looked really promising. So I think getting a full season out of him, we may see him actually doing well and getting in the points almost every race. So
I
I'm
love
going to say
that.
Danny.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Speaking of who you think is going to be most criticized or who will have the worst performance this year, do you have any guesses?
Probably Checo, just because he was so heavily criticized last season. I think that will continue. I think anytime that he's not in P1 or P2, he's going to face a ton of scrutiny. Like, why are you in a rocket ship and you're not doing as well as Max? So, probably Checo. I think all eyes on George because we're kind of seeing is George going to be stepping into first driver Mercedes priority, or if he has a bad season, will they prioritize someone else? So lots of eyes on George. And I think there's also going to be lots of eyes on Lando because Oscar did so well last season. If Oscar continues to do well and surpasses him, he may be facing a lot of heat this season.
Did you just peer into my brain because that was literally like bing bang boom, like
Really?
Checo,
Okay,
George,
okay.
Lando. I was like, oh no, is she going to say who I think she's going to say? Our differences realign.
We're back. We had a few original thoughts, but we're back to just being the same person. We definitely touched on this a little bit, but do you think anyone's going to retire this season?
Yeah, I think potentially Checo, if he doesn't do well, if he doesn't like re-sign with Red Bull, I think potentially someone from Haas, whether that's K-Mag, if like he ends up not being able to be consistent or better than last year, maybe Nico, maybe he just wants to do his own thing now. And I think potentially Danny, but I'm not really manifesting that at all. I think
Mm,
he still has several years to continue to prove himself. Yeah, I mean, maybe Valtteri, but I think he's still in it to have fun. Like, I think he's still having a lot of fun with Formula One, even with his outside interests. So,
yeah.
Checo, one of the Haas drivers, hopefully not Danny.
Yeah. I think maybe Checo. Checo, I think, really depends on his performance this year. I
Yeah,
think, like you said, if he has a bad year, he may just retire. If he has a good year, I don't think he's going anywhere. Maybe Valtteri. I think it would be more likely Valtteri would retire in 2025 when his contract is up. I don't see
yeah.
him like retiring mid contract. I don't think that would make sense. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think he will. And then honestly, I think Fernando Alonso is an agent of chaos and you never know his next move. And he may just be like, actually, I'm done. I don't really need to go to Mercedes or stay at Aston Martin. Like, I'm going to just mentor my boy Lance via the telephone and I'm out. That would not shock me because I really never know what Fernando is going to do next.
He is truly the most unpredictable driver. Like, I think with your like background and with a little bit of my background, I feel like we have a good pulse on reading people in general. But Fernando is just one driver where I'm like, he could quit any day and it wouldn't surprise me. Or he could like literally be on the podium and continue driving until he's well into like his 60s. I don't know. Like he is a man of very many extremes.
Really could go either way. Would not be
Yeah.
surprised. And
Mhm.
then I think we need to end our 2024 predictions with just each of us give 3 wild predictions, no logic, just straight vibes.
Ooh. I feel like I kind of added some wild predictions. Wild predictions, fully in my vibes. Max does not get WDC. He gets second place. And I would say Carlos gets WDC instead. I'm fully like invested in his villain era. I think it's going to be so real. Like I think he's just at like I give no Fs. I'm done. I'm the best strategist there is. And I'm going to go head to head with Max, especially if the Ferrari car this year is able to give a little challenge. I think that is my top 2 kind of wild predictions. And I am here to say we're going to get another EP from Charles.
Okay. If I had to make 3 wild predictions for the 2024 season on no logic, just vibes, I'm completely improvising here. I didn't prepare at all. I'm just going to spit out whatever my brain says. So, first one is going to be Max gets sick of driving and retires because he's like, this is too easy for me. I'm not even having any fun. Second one is going to be SD Bestie celebrity collab. I think he'll meet some like celebrity we would never expect him to be talking to, like SD Bestie Olivia Rodrigo or something.
Oh my gosh.
And then my third one is going to be Charles Leclerc record label. Like Charles
Ooh.
Leclerc, maybe not a record label. Charles Leclerc gets featured on a very famous person's song.
Taylor Swift.
Could you imagine? People would
Oh
lose
my
their
gosh.
mind.
Woo. They're going to do a cute little duet together. I mean, it works because Travis Kelce is like in the sphere now. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
True. Okay, well, you know what? I cannot wait to make the bingo card for our season predictions. I am so excited. I think I'm gonna print it out and like laminate it and put it on my fridge and keep track all season of if any of our predictions come true, even the crazy outlandish ones.
Do it. I love it.
Any other predictions for the season that are coming to mind for you?
No, I think that's it. I am overwhelmed. I am excited. I cannot wait to see what you put on our bingo card so that we can all join together and mark things off as they go. Or maybe we just won't have a full bingo card. Maybe we were just fully unhinged.
No, we may have enough for 2 bingo cards. Maybe we have a logic bingo card and a unhinged
Ooh,
bingo card.
okay.
I'm adding one more prediction / manifestation. Me and Mary will watch a race live together this season.
I like that idea. Yeah, maybe we both will go to Las Vegas.
Oh, she's throwing out the big predictions.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, or even if we just come together and watch it in person together, I will settle for that.
I am settling for either extreme.
Yes. Okay. Well, those are our predictions. Tell us your predictions. We want to know. Did you think of these things as well? What are your chaotic predictions? Let us know. I cannot believe the season is so soon. I felt like it was forever away, and here we are. And I can't wait to go into this season with a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more community connection and just enjoy this with everyone.
Yeah, same. This is going to be my very first full season, so I'm excited to be here with Emily, with all of you guys, and I would love to continue this discussion offline. Please, please, please let us know your thoughts on our YouTube channel, our Instagram account, our TikTok, chatterboxbox, or chatterboxbox F1, with all of the given links. So yeah, I
Yes.
think
And
that's pretty
yeah,
much it.
that's it for today. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thanks so much, everyone. Over and out.
Bye.
Bye, F1 World.
No, not yet, not yet.
Oh no, I'm saying like bye for today.